What up, what up? It's your boy AD, and that's all day, and I'm up in the spot, you feel me? Finna switch it up a little bit. Got a little top five list of my top five comedians who I consider just to be my top five. And I'm gonna talk a little bit about how much truth comedy really holds. And then I'm gonna switch it up, have a little music playing in the background too. Shouts out to J Raw Beats for the beats, man. Shouts out, leave my channel link at the bottom. Y'all can go check them out. But I'm gonna be real, man. First I'm gonna talk about comedy. One thing I notice about comedy is comedy has a lot of truth in it, you know, and a lot of people who are funny are people who went through a lot of tough shit, a lot of truthful things. It's hard to be funny or have a sense of humor when you ain't really been through much. It's tough. I put it like that. And you haven't noticed how a lot of comedians will say things, that really are real, but they're still very funny. That's what makes comedy so funny sometimes. Because you're saying things that people know is real, know they think, but they don't really, say these things. So a comedian come out, crack a little joke, mix it with the real truth, and all of a sudden it's funny. A lot about comedy is the fact that you gotta kind of relate to the comedy a little. It's like you gotta relate to comedy a little bit. You gotta understand it to find it to be funny, right? But don't you ever hear jokes that you just be like, I don't get this. That's why a lot of jokes have truth in it, because these are things that are real, no matter if you know them or not. A lot of people do not understand truth and what really things are, but it'll be shown right to you, but it'll be a form of comedy, so you will get it more because it's not giving it to you cold and hard, because the truth really is cold and hard. But it makes you laugh when you hear the truth in the joke. Even like when you watching shows, movies, comedies. I know those shows and movies do be kind of funny sometimes, but you ever notice how real they be? Like, they be real. Like, I swear a lot of comedies do be like that. I can name a whole list of comedies that are comedies, but still seem to be telling you some type of truth. Still trying to wake you up in some type of fashion. I know y'all probably want me to say something. But see, that's why I'll make these videos. Go ahead, let me know what y'all think are good comedies that really expose the truth and tell people what's going on. I'll pick one out the blue. Don't Be a Menace to Society While Drinking Your Juice in the Hood, starring Marlon and Shawn Wayans. Again, this is not the only one. There's plenty of them. So I'm actually trying to watch the new Dumb and Dumber. Number two, I'm actually watching that. I done got through like the first little quarter of it, so I got to check that movie out. But I'm gonna bring this one up though, and if you do want to watch this movie, if you never seen it, it's on Netflix right now. You can go on Netflix, type in "Drinking Your Juice in the Hood" or "Don't Be a Menace," it'll pop up. But it's basically a spoof of a real movie that they have made, and then they made a spoof of it. And it's so crazy because the movie is just so over the top and exaggerated. That's what they like to do sometimes. They like to exaggerate things just so you laugh, but the stuff really be true. And a lot of things in that movie was kind of real and really did show and reflects certain things that really do happen. But they had to make a joke about everything. Like, for example, I mean, man, there's so many of them, right? There's so many examples in that movie, like his dad being like younger than him and staying with his mama and stuff. They trying to tell you that a lot of these dudes ain't gonna be real men no more, and they ain't gonna have no opportunities like that no more. And now they still try to claim to be men, but when you really look at them, they shit younger than you. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of them, they messed up now. And they talk about women in there. They expose truth about women too. Like that one girl who had all the damn kids. And she was supposed to be the fine girl, even though it was all funny and hilarious, but that's kind of true. You know what it be? A lot of times the real fine girl do be the girl with a whole bunch of kids and don't got no man. A lot of times it do be like that. And again, you know, I know I don't want to drag this video on too long, but y'all understand what I'm saying. But let me go ahead and get to it, man. And again, I would love to hear your top 5 comedians. But here go my top 5 comedians. Started from number 5, working my way up. And again, this is just my opinion and what I like. I know it's a lot out here that is not on this list. I already know, but hey, it is what it is. Number 5, Bernie Mac. Now, let me know what y'all think about that. And now, I know some people might feel like, oh, why is he so low on this list? But again, I'm giving you my opinion. But I do love Bernie Mac. You know, it's messed up. He gone now. But I definitely did like his comedy. He was a very talented person. His style of comedy is a style that some people even tried to imitate. But it was very hard to imitate Bernie Mac's style because, you know, he always had that don't fuck around attitude, you know what I'm saying? Always act like he was on something half the time. Always had something to say though, and had some shit to tell you though. You know, Bernie Mac was one of them type of people that when he talk, you probably gonna listen. You know, definitely, I liked him in damn near every movie he's ever played in. I love the Bernie Mac show, even though it's sad what happened at the end of the show when he basically died from a microwave. Sorry for spoiling it, but it is kind of old now. So there you go. Number 5, Bernie Mac. Number 4, Chris Rock. Now I'm gonna put Chris Rock as number 4 because again, Chris Rock is another one of them stars who's been around for a while, who's extremely. I just like the unique form of comedy with Chris Rock. I guess you could say I do like Chris Rock a little more than Bernie Mac. Because it's a lot of things that Chris Rock has said that have just stuck to me and I remember. You know, because again, you know, a lot of comedy does hold a lot of truth. And that's one thing I liked about Chris Rock's comedy. Like he loved to show you the truth, but then he'll just exaggerate it though. But you know it's kind of so true what he's saying, but it just be hilarious. You know, he definitely can make you laugh and then try to teach you something at the same time. He plays some real crazy characters in movies and stuff too. But his comedy, his stand-up comedy, to be honest, is what really stood out to me about Chris Rock that made him number 4. 2 of my favorite comedies by Chris Rock Don't Kill the Messenger, and it was another one. Oh man, what was the other one called? I know one is called Don't Kill the Messenger. And another one is called something else that's really good. Y'all should check out if you've never seen it. You may have. But if it come back to me, I'll let y'all know. Number 3, Eddie Griffin. Yes, Eddie Griffin is my number 3. And I know y'all like, what? Eddie Griffin? Like why Eddie Griffin? Because Eddie Griffin is another one of those comedians who stuck with me. Kind of like Chris Rock. It's like, to me, you know you're a good comedian sometimes when you could say some things years ago and it still stick with you and it might apply to your real life. And Eddie Griffin had a real good form of comedy as well. He really did. Like some people might consider it to be a little over the top or raunchy, but again, it had a lot of truth, had a lot of knowledge, and was actually, very, very funny. And one thing about Eddie Griffin is, you know, he really did have a wild, crazy background. He even explained it in one of his DVDs called His Dysfunctional Family, where he actually explained his life growing up, and it was crazy, man. It was crazy. Tell you more about him. You know, I also liked a lot of his movies as well, and TV shows, because Eddie Griffin has played in a lot of movies and TV shows, even had his own TV show with Malcolm and Eddie, which was extremely hilarious, and that's funny even to this day. Again, I just really like his form of comedy, man. I like that hardcore, realistic comedy, you know, like, I just like the fact that he really will tell you some crap, boy. Like, the stuff he be saying really do be real, but it be so funny. And Eddie Griffin is number 3 to me. Number 2, Cat Williams. Yes, hey, this could be people's number one. But this is like of all time to me. This list could maybe change in the future. But number two, Cat Williams. Now the reason why I like Cat Williams so much is because he kind of was like one of the most funniest people I ever seen. Like this dude, especially when he was in his prime, like late 2000, early 2010s, this dude was so popular because, shoot, he was really a funny guy. He really was. And just like the rest, most of these other people on here, they really do, stick. What they say sticks. And it really does kind of mean something. Because being a comedian is not easy. It's a very difficult thing to do. But if you can do it and you do it comfortably, and people still listen to you, you're a good comedian when you can mess up and people still laugh. And that's Cat Williams. He can make a mistake and you still laugh. He cannot even tell the joke correctly, but you will just still laugh because he's just good at what he do. Now I know a lot of people will probably say like, hey man, he kind of fell off a little bit, because I guess he has compared to what he used to. But I'm never going to forget the hype that surrounded this man and the fact that he really was a very talented comedian who could almost make anybody laugh when you really think about it. I mean, man, you couldn't say at a point in time people really like Cat Williams, Like you see now, we got the whole Kevin Hart hype and stuff like that. But back then, it was Cat Williams. And Cat Williams didn't even have to do a lot what Kevin Hart has done and still remains number two on my list. I see this video 12 minutes. Okay, last one. Mike Epps. This is number one on my list. Mike Epps. Now, a lot of people probably will say Mike Epps favored Richard Pryor, which I do kind of find a little true. I do. I know Richard Pryor is not on this list, and that's probably because Richard Pryor wasn't really in my time. I mean, I've had watched some of his stuff. I'm not going to diss him at all, say, oh, he's not a good comedian, but I'm just giving you my opinion, what I've experienced, what I've seen, and I'm going to put Mike Epps as number one. Now, why I like Mike Epps so much? Because it's like ever since the dude came out, he was always funny. I mean, from the first time you see him, from the movies to all that, the dude always played a good, crazy, funny role. Like you see, like in Next Friday, they got rid of Smokey and replaced him with Day Day, and you see he fit right in, if not made that role better because he was so funny, Because Chris Tucker, he almost deserves a spot on this list too with his form of comedy. But I'm going to give it to Mike Epps because he was funnier to me in that movie. And I ain't just basing off a movie, because Mike Epps got plenty of other movies and stand-up comedies. And I don't know, man. It's just the stuff he be saying just be so relatable to me. And it just be so hilarious. I like the fact that he don't really have to work that hard to make you laugh. Some of these comedians, they really gotta sweat bullets out here. He really don't. He could just come out here and say some crazy realistic shit and you gonna laugh and you gonna find that shit funny. And he probably did get some of his skills from Richard Pryor, but he just evolved it, into a new generation. Richard Pryor was for that older generation. Not saying he wasn't funny, but he was definitely funny in that time. In that time, he was probably hilarious as hell. But I'm definitely gonna give it to Mike Epps because he probably entertains me the most out of all of them. He makes me laugh the most, entertains me the most. I find his comedy to be extremely good. I mean, I could sit there and watch his whole comedy and never get bored, never really get bored, So that's my list, and I would be interested to hear you guys' list because I know I missed a lot of people, and I know it's so more, it's so much more, and that's why it'd be cool to see y'all list, make it up, let me know, like this video, switch it up. The next video I'm gonna make, I'm probably gonna be a little more turned, so be on the lookout for that, and I'm gonna holla at y'all. Peace out.